Okay, here we are, the start of the 2023 season. The bike is out of storage, brought it into my garage. So we're going to give her a bit of a service and a check over. I've got Cartagena in 3 weeks, but 2 weeks until the drop off. So I've got 2 weeks to do all the standard checks, check and clean the front brakes, lube all the levers, axles, gear linkage, etc. Oil filter, plugs, clean the air filter, just do a general check over, fire up, make sure she's all good. I managed to clear a bit of space in the garage. I would normally have a bit more space, but I've got my tubs out that I've checked through, ready for next season, make sure everything's in, made notes of any missing bits, so I've ordered those ready for next year, ready for this year. And some other bits and bobs I'm working on. So we've got a bit of space. I'll put those tubs into the shed later, so that will give us some space to work on there. Got the Constand stand so I can move the bike around. So hopefully tonight I will make a start at the front of the bike and then work my way to the back. So we'll start off with take the wheel out, give it a good clean the front brakes, make sure everything's operating, lube the axles, and then work up, check the headstock bearings and the levers, etc., and see how that goes. Okay, so here we are, start of the pre-season service. So I've taken all the fairings off, I've taken the front calipers off and just tied them up for the moment. I'll just check the headstock bearings, they all seem to be okay, so I'll take the front wheel off, just give it a general look over, a clean, and then lube the spindle, and then I'll go on to the brake calipers, take the pads out, give them a clean, etc. So we've got a heater to keep us nice and warm, a little bit of Jean-Michel Jarre, lovely jubbly, and of course a cup of tea. So let's get cracking. Okay, first evening done. So I took the front wheel off, took the discs off, give it all a good clean, lubed up some bits and bobs, retightened the discs, took out the pads, cleaned the calipers, clean the caliper pistons, clean the back of the pads, just give them a bit of a rough up, everything's nice and clean and all back as it should be. So next thing tomorrow is levers, take the levers off, give them a clean, and a bit of a lube up, make sure everything's working properly. So the next part of the pre-season servicing, oil and filter. So I actually started filming halfway through the job, but I've run the bike up to temperature, just let it cool down slightly, taken the lock wire off the oil filter and the sump nut, and then I've drained the oil from the sump nut, taken the oil filter off. It's spilled a bit over the exhaust parts, but I'll clean that off later. So the new oil filter is on and finger tight. I've got the sump plug and new washer to go back on, and then we'll fill it up with oil and lock wire it all up. That's another job done. I've had a check of the oil, it doesn't look too bad. I only changed it last couple of rounds ago because I had an engine issue, but it's looking pretty good, a bit dark but no bits in it, which is the main thing, so I'm happy with that. Okay, so here we are, halfway through changing the spark plugs. So far it's been going okay. Because I've got the track fairings off to do the oil and stuff and just give it a general clean and lube, all I had to do was take the screws out of the top mount of the rad, pull it forward slightly. I've got some rags to stop scratching on the forks and the mudguard. That gives me just enough space in there to do the plug. So I'm just on number 2. Let's see how well it goes. Okay, so all 4 spark plugs changed. I don't think I had any issues. I didn't feel anything. I didn't over tighten. I hopefully got the threads in at a straight angle. I do have a little technique when I do the spark plugs. I lower it in gently and then just do a couple of reverse turns, and you can feel the spark plug sort of rise up slightly and drop down again where the thread is going up and down, and that seems to put it in the right angle, and then you can tighten it up the normal way. So they're all done. I won't fire it up now because it's late, but I'll do it in the morning once I've done a few more other things. So looking at the spark plugs that come out, they look a bit dirty. I don't know how long they've been in there. One of them looks a bit corroded, this one here, so possibly good idea to swap those. So we'll see how it goes later on. Okay, just putting the finishing touches to the servicing. So I've started at the front with the front wheel and the brakes, cleaning it, servicing it, lubing it. Obviously work my way backwards from there. So levers, cleaning, lubing, checking everything's fine, headstock bearings, check the radiator, the water, then the oil and filter, and basically just working my way back to the back of the bike. So did the levers and the pegs, took them off, checked them, re-lubed and stuff, and now I'm just on the back wheel. So I've cleaned and lubed up all the axle adjusters at the back, cleaned up the back wheel, so it's looking nice. Just did a general clean up in the back there, so we're ready to put the back wheel back on, and then I think we're done. It's obviously a bit late to fire up now, but I'll give it a fire up tomorrow and hope that I've got all the spark plugs in properly. Okay, so here we are. I think the servicing is all finished. As I said in the last video, we started at the front and then worked our way all the way to the back. Everything looks pretty good, so I've opened up the door. So we will get this live and fire it up for the first time. Just checking the oil, check, everything's good. So here we go then, we're in neutral, just double check. Yep, awesome. Let's give it a go.